In this video, I'm going to answer the 50 most popular email marketing questions, straight answers, no fluff. Why should you listen to me? Because of all these reasons. Question 1, what is a good open rate? 20%. It's going to keep going down as time goes on, but that's pretty good. How long should your emails be? Keep them under 300 words. That's about 60 seconds. Really the cutoff for a quick impulse read of an email. People just don't have the time to read them. Number 3, how many links should you put in an email? If your email is 300 words, 2 links maximum. If you're putting a lot of those links to all your socials, it can start to end up in the spam folder or in the promotions tab, which you definitely do not want to have. If your email is going to be 150 words, you're going to be looking at more like 1 link. Number 4, what is the best time to send emails? 7 a.m. EST, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday are better. Mondays and Fridays, people are too busy. What should I say in my emails? Email your list and say, hey, what is the biggest challenge you're having? You'll get a bunch of replies because it'll look like a personal email from you, and literally just write an email about each of those different topics that they sent you. Boom, you got all your content. Tie whatever it is they want to know about into a lesson or an experience that you've had from your own experiences in your business. That's going to be even better because you're talking from experience and from things you've done rather than just theory. How often should I send emails? Minimum once a week, maximum once a day, unless you're doing promos, and especially on the last day of a promo, you might end up sending 3 emails in a day. Number 7, won't I annoy people if I email them too often? Yeah. If you don't have anything good to say and you email them too often, you'll annoy them. If you have killer stuff to send people and you send it to them 7 days a week, they're going to eat it up. How do I find out what to send them? Send a short email that just says what's the biggest challenge you have in your business right now, and then just write content based on that. I don't have time to write emails. Have any tips? So you can use my no extra time method. Download ChatGPT onto your phone. You can use my magic wand in the GPT store. And what you can do is it is already programmed to try and write killer emails based on good hooks at the beginning, subject lines, all that stuff. You literally just sit there and just when you have a thought, walking the dog in the morning, in the car, on the way back from the grocery store, while you're driving home, obviously not looking at your phone if you're driving, and you just hit record to transcribe what you're saying. And then the transcription on GPT is phenomenal now. So you just sit there and just say, like the other day, I was working with a client and this thing happened, give a lesson and a bit of an actionable step. AI will just rewrite the email for you. Boom, like that. You're welcome. Number 10, should I send broadcast or autoresponder messages? Mostly autoresponder. If you're in the education space, you want leverage. And the best thing you can do is, especially if you've got incredible stuff, your stories and everything you've got, if you send that in a broadcast, all these people are never going to hear that story ever again. You want to make sure every person gets your best stuff. If you want, you can do the better of both worlds. Load up an autoresponder with 50 or 100 messages, and when that finishes, you can then send people so they only get broadcast messages after that. I'm a big fan of leverage, and autoresponders is the best leverage. Plus, when you're doing that with autoresponders, you can also then find out which were your best emails, reorder them after 6 months, so that the best ones all appear at the top. Win-win. What's the most efficient way to create emails? If you are a coach, jump on one of those group calls, get people to ask you questions, answer them, transcribe the whole thing, then dump the transcript into the Magic Wand GPT app. It can spit out 10, 20 emails. So that's probably the most efficient way of doing it. If you actually want to sit down and write emails, then I guess batch creating them, blocking out a couple of hours of time and doing it that way. I also like to set a timer for my writing session and then a separate task for the actual email I'm writing, so I stay on track with how many minutes I'm spending doing that. Number 12, which is better, pretty design HTML or plain emails? For what we do, plain emails all the way. E-commerce tends to be better with HTML. 13, what's a good click-through rate? There's no such thing. It's always dropping and there's more competition. 1.5 to 2% if you have to pick a click-through rate, but it's going to be different. If you're writing a content email with the link at the very bottom, it's going to be super low. If you put promo, it's the last day and you're going to put a link at the very top, hey, this thing's ending in 3 hours, it's going to be higher. What software should I use? If you're trying to create a newsletter that's running sponsorship ads, Beehive is probably the best thing these days. If you want to do a big, complex funnel that's not too expensive so you can run automations, someone gets an email but they don't open it, so you can send them a slightly different email with a different subject line until they do open it. Active Campaign is really good for that. If you want to just do lots of content emails and you want the ability to be able to reorder those emails really quickly, Kit, which used to be ConvertKit, is really good for that. What if I want an email tool with more automation power? ActiveCampaign. There's also Infusionsoft, which is now Keep. That's a big one, but very expensive. Should I set up automations or send a basic email sequence? It's always best to go with simple, basic email sequences first. Get to know who your prospect is. Who are they? What are their fears, frustrations? What do they want to know? What are their biggest challenges? What are their biggest problems? It's going to be a lot easier to adjust and make new emails for that than to put together this hugely complex automation that's going to break. They've always got issues. If things are not linked up properly, then you can lose things, or steps don't start because of certain things. Simple basic sequences first, automations later. What's the fastest way to launch an email list? Create an announcement, your social media, put a link in the comment or in your bio, depending on the social media platform. Contact a bunch of your colleagues, your network. How do I improve my email deliverability? Contact your list, get them to reply, get them to tell you what it is that they're interested in, what their challenges are, what problems they have. Then send them content based on that. Short emails that ask for replies, have emails that have links to either articles, videos that you've created. Number 20, how do I stop people from unsubscribing from my email list? You don't. There's always going to be a couple of people that unsubscribe, probably from every single email that you send. And there's nothing you can do to permanently stop it. People go through phases where they are interested in a topic and then they stop being interested in a topic. You just can't predict what's going to happen there. What you can do is send them the most relevant content, and you can set the frame for when they subscribe. Number 21, isn't social media better than email marketing? Well, no. People go on social media, they find your content. That is the beginning point. Email is that next step in the relationship that is one step closer to becoming someone who buys. You can have the biggest Instagram following, YouTube following. One day, either the algorithm shifts and you don't get any viewership anymore, or your account gets banned and now you no longer can access that audience. And for some people, that could mean their business basically crumbles overnight. You want to try and get your stuff away from the social media algorithms and into owned media, which is text message, email, and they're pretty much the only platforms you can have. Own the list of people who you can contact. 22. How do I stop overthinking email marketing? Write knowing that you're going to delete it one day, and just put it out there, and just know that everything is going to be an iterative process that is going to improve over time, and that nothing is forever. What should my welcome emails say? What I like to do in welcome emails is to bullet out 10 to 15 things they're going to learn in the autoresponder that's coming up, and say something like, hey, you're in for a real treat. Over the next couple of days, you're going to learn, boom, boom, bullet. And opens up this open loops, as we call in copywriting, to get people to go, oh, and look forward to what's coming up so that they then want to stick around. Very powerful. Number 24, how many emails should I include in my sales sequence? Depends on the email sales sequence. You might be running a 24-hour promo, a 3-day promo, a 7-day promo. Let's say it's a 5-day promotion. I'll send one email every day, and then on the second last day, I'll send 2 emails, and on the last day, I'll send 3 emails, depending on the client, but I can also do send to unopens. The first one at 7 a.m. and then the second one at 8 p.m. So you're getting both the people who open the email in the morning and then the people who like to open their email in the evening. If I'm selling like a short little bonuses to go with something to try and boost some sales, I might do a 3-day promo. If it's a webinar, it might be a 7-day promo. It's just always different. How do I segment my email list without overcomplicating things? Just have prospects and buyers on 2 separate lists. If you really want to keep it simple, if you're a solopreneur, you don't really have a lot of complicated stuff, you don't want to do things too complicated, that's the best way to do it. 26.
Hey, real quick, if you're a business owner potentially interested in working with me one-on-one, click the link in the description, fill out the form, and we'll see if we're a good fit. All right, cheers. Back to it.
Can I reuse emails I sent last year? Yeah, you can reuse emails. People aren't going to generally remember emails that you sent a couple of months ago. Probably only a fifth of your email list would have seen the email in the first place. You could run it with a different subject line, so it'll feel different, but just in general, yeah, if it's the next year, you could definitely use it again. How do I write subject lines that get clicks without sounding spammy? I mean, if you're using spam words, it's going to sound spammy. So steer clear of spam words and use a spam filter remover. There's lots of free tools online for that. If you're writing educational based emails, then some of the best subject lines are things like how to do X, this blank got X benefit or X result, tell a story about something, name, want X benefit. As long as you fulfill upon the subject line in the email, then you'll maintain trust. 28. Should I personalize emails with first names? Yes, you will always get higher open rates if you do that. Some people don't like it. whatever. It's up to you if you do it. You will get better open rates. What's the best way to pitch my service without sounding salesy? A really good thing you can do is actually put people onto a waiting list. So if you're a service-based provider, you probably only have so many people you can take on at once. So if you're full, put a waiting list at the bottom of your emails in the PS, and that will build up pent-up demand for your service. And then when you say, hey, I've opened up a slot or two, it adds more credibility to what you're doing, and people want it more because they can't get it. So that's handy too. Oh, the other thing you can do is just write emails. If you really want to push it and write a lot of emails about it, you can write emails that overcome objections that people have about your service, provide answers to those objections. And that's just a really good way of converting people. And do it in story form. 30. Can I send the same email more than once? What I like to do, if I'm doing a promotion, I'll send it at 7 a.m. and then use a different subject line and send it again in the PM. So it's only going to go to people that didn't open the original email in the morning anyway. 31. How do I make sure people actually read the whole email? Well, make the email good. If you make it a story or a mistake or something and it's all personal based on your lessons and experiences, it's going to be naturally more interesting. But I guess another thing you can do is double space your lines. Make sure you highlight things with bolding, underlining. So if you can say something in 5 words or 2 words instead of 10 words, don't add extra words unnecessarily. 32. How often should I clean or prune my email list? Some people do it every 30 days, some do it every 60, 90 days. Don't leave it a year. Should I use emojis in subject lines? Everyone I've worked with hasn't wanted to use emojis unless you are in a very fun, if your personal brand image is super fun, super casual and very personable, then maybe you'll do it, but otherwise probably not. 34. How do I prevent my emails from sounding robotic if I'm using AI? So you can use my Magic Wand email tool as a GPT. You can transcribe your own content, so your own words, and have it rewrite specifically what you've said rather than writing from scratch or from a wonky template. 35. Is it okay to tell personal stories in my business emails? Yes. You can tell a quick personal anecdote very quickly and move on to the business lesson, then you could do it. To be safer, you don't even have to bother with personal stories, things that are unrelated to business. 36. How long should I wait before pitching something to new subscribers? You shouldn't be going into a hard promo on day one. That's probably not a good place to start. If someone's just joined your list, they should be getting your indoctrination emails and build up the trust with them first before anything happens so that they know, like, and trust you, and that there's more chance of them buying from you later on. But what you can do is you can have content emails with a PS that says, story, here's a lesson, an insight, an action step you can take, cheers, your name. PS, if you're interested in getting this benefit in your business, check out this. And you could just link to one of your products. 37. What are the signs that my email list is actually hurting my brand? I guess sign up to your own email list as if you're a prospect and just have them appear in your inbox and go, oh, my email. And read it because you've been detached from it for a little while and didn't just write the email. See how you feel about the email. There are definitely some experts and people online who are business experts and they are intentionally polarizing to get attention. Some people like that and they will attract a smaller subset of the market. That will be a more passionate segment and then everyone else will think they're a jerk. And there are also experts who do writing where they really talk themselves up about how good their stuff is. And you need to be able to say, hey, I've done these things, but you don't have to say things like, my emails are so effing good. Assess what you're saying and then you'll have a better idea. Or give it to other people to read, people you trust their opinion of, and see what they think. 38. Should I send emails to my entire list or segment every time? Look, it depends. If you want to make the maximum amount of money and you're sending a promotion, you can send it to everybody. You could put a link in the bottom of the promotional email and say, hey, if you're not interested in this particular promo anymore, click here and you'll stop getting these emails, or click here to unsubscribe. So that way, if someone doesn't want to get the email specifically about that promo, they won't, but they'll still stay on your email list. So there's that. That way you can maximize the amount of money you're making from your list. If you're doing emails that are nurture based and you're trying to segment it out so everyone who is a beginner in a topic gets these emails, if someone who's this person gets those emails, sure, you can do stuff like that too. But just realize that for every segmentation, you're adding complexity and time. All of it's opportunity cost. So you've just got to balance the pros and cons there. 39. What kind of content actually builds trust over time? Stories and lessons specific to your industry and your experience. For example, if I'm telling you one of of the biggest lessons I learned after doing 39 affiliate promotions for one particular client after he generated over $1 million from it was this. Or, hey, we sent a promo and it made lots of money, but then I decided to do this other thing and it bombed. And the reason it bombed, I realized, was this, and that's why. It doesn't matter whether the content is positive or negative, as long as it's based on reality and things you've done. Number 40, what's a good ratio of free content to promotional emails? If you're doing nurture emails and you just put the promo in the PS, you can do that in every email. Some people will do 1 week of content, 1 week of promotion, or 2 weeks content, 1 week promotion. You just got to gauge what's happening. If you have in the tick box underneath where they sign up, if it says you will be getting promotional emails from me, or even better, like a tick box, I agree that I will be getting educational and content emails from this person, then they know what they're getting and they will be more receptive to it as well. How do I get more replies to my emails? Or you can do the Dean Jackson, are you still interested in blah, blah, blah topic? That's good for dead leads. Or you can just do, hey, what's your biggest challenge with whatever topic? Get them to reply. People will always reply to that stuff. How do I make my call to actions stand out? I'll make them blue links, not random colors. You can make them bold and italic. Instead of saying click here for more info or join here, make it a benefit. So if it's a webinar, it could be the hook of the webinar, and above it you can write register below and then the link, capitalize the first letter of each word so that it stands out more. 43, what day of the week gets the best engagement? Tuesday and Thursdays are the best. How can I ethically create urgency in my emails? Don't make products that you're going to close if they're just digital products. If you're selling a template, ebook, digital course with no personal element, coaching, consulting, only do urgency and scarcity on products that genuinely require them. Cohorts, a 6-week coaching program, live seminars. 45, what do I do if my emails are landing in Gmail's promotions tab? First thing you can do, make sure there is only 1 image or 0 images in your email. It's under 300 words. Just have 2 links maximum. Put your email through a spam filter tool. There's a million of them online. The one I use, Foldery, folderly.com/spam words checker. The other thing you can do when people join your email list, tell them to drag it into the inbox email as well. 46, what should I do to avoid the spam folder? If you are doing a promo, it is going to be hard. You can try and remove a lot of the wording that you would use in a promotion, but it's a trade-off because you'll probably have a lower response rate, but you have more people in the inbox. Should I offer a lead magnet or a free consult to grow my email list? If someone signs up on your page and you say, get a free consult, A, they're going to think it's a sales pitch in disguise. B, when they get the consult, they're not going to expect to get more emails from you. Lead magnets, if it's a report template, give them 5 or 6 lead magnets in each of the emails when they subscribe. You can put it on the newsletter page where they sign up and you can say, day 1, you're going to get this, day 2, you're going to get this, day 3, you're going to get this, but they know they're signing up for a newsletter. 48. Can I swear or use edgy language in my emails? Of course you can. You can do whatever you want. If you use language like that on LinkedIn, I think they're probably going to potentially ban you, have your content pulled down. In your emails, yeah, sure. If you think it's going to help with your brand, are you going more mainstream in your branding or are you going rogue, pirate, rough around the edges? If it's the latter, the language will probably work for you. 49. What's the best way to introduce a new offer or service to my list? You can do an email like what I've done in my 10 Tiny Emails video, where I give you the exact templates of all the emails that I wrote. You can say big news or new announcement or big announcement, and then you just go through and say what it is. That works. Number 50. How do I know what I should actually write about to my list? Look at the previous emails you've written, what got the highest open rates, what topics got the highest click-through rates. You can also look at YouTube channels for the topics that you have written about and then rank the videos by the most popular, and you'll see which things resonate with people the most and which hooks are the most interesting, and that'll give you some ideas.
If you'd like more tips and tactics to help you generate more leads and more sales in your business, then I boil down everything I've learned in the last 20 years working with clients into short, bite-sized lessons with actionable tips. You can sign up for my newsletter in the description below. Thanks.